Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we're checking out another chainsaw. We've got our Echo CCS-58V4AH. Man, that's a long part number on that thing. But what this is our Echo 16-inch brushless 58-volt lithium-ion battery chainsaw. If you've been following along with the channel, you know I've got several different chainsaws. I have the Atlas series, which kind of seems to be at the beginning of the price point of battery chainsaws. I've got a Milwaukee M18 fuel chainsaw, and it's a little bit more in the mid-range to higher price chainsaws. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in between there, and this is one of the saws that falls in between those two price points. You know, the Atlas starts around, I think you can get a whole kit for around $200, $229, something like that. The Milwaukee goes up to about $450 is where it is at for the whole kit, the battery and charger and everything. The Echo is $339 for the saw, battery, and charger. So for the entire kit, it's kind of right in between those two price points. So we're going to try this one out today. I'm going to go down and saw up some firewood rounds. I cut the tree down the other day with this saw and actually was pretty happy with it then. But I want to run it through and do some continuous cutting with it, sawing up firewood rounds and stuff with it, just to kind of check it out, see how the battery holds up and all that kind of stuff. So follow along with us as we go down and try this thing out. So before we go down and actually start cutting with this, let's take a quick look at some of the specifications on it. It's a brushless motor for superior performance, 16-inch bar and chain for larger cutting, automatic oiler for optimum oiling, and it does have a variable speed trigger for ultimate cutting control. Now, I ordered this saw from sawsuppliers.com. They were good about getting it shipped out. It showed up. I think it shipped from their facility in just a couple days or something, but then it showed up like even a couple days after that. So it was less than a week getting the saw in. Only thing is that I was a little bit disappointed. As you can see, there's a bunch of brown tape and stuff all over the box. I don't know, maybe they opened this up, maybe the box was damaged. They opened it up maybe to make sure that everything was in there, which it was. Everything that's supposed to be included in there did come with it, and everything is in absolute new condition. There was nothing damaged or anything like that. So I had to cut away some of the tape here on the box so we could actually see the specifications list here. But it's a 58 volt, 4 amp hour lithium ion battery. The run time says up to 112 minutes. It's got a brushless motor, variable speed trigger, 16-inch bar length, an inertia chain brake. And the surprising part here, the weight of it at 13.7 pounds. So 13.7 pounds, this saw is pretty heavy. And I actually noticed that first thing yesterday whenever I was initially using it. The battery pack contributes some to that because this is a fairly large battery pack. But it's actually only a 4 amp hour, but where it's a 58 volt, it has to have so many cells in it to get the voltage up that high. So the actual size of this battery is a little bit bigger than, say, the 18 volt in the Milwaukee. But the Milwaukee is a 12 amp hour battery, and it's around the same size or maybe a little bit smaller than this one. But like I say, it's an 18 volt versus 58 volt. So I'd be interested to see how the actual runtime actually, if it's competitive, the 4 amp hour versus the 12 amp hour, or whether, you know, like the 58 volt is more efficient than the 18 volt with a 12 amp hour. So that's going to be some interesting comparisons. So there's going to be on some videos to come. So stay tuned for all that, but let's go cut up this tree and see how this thing does. As you can see, there's quite a bit of firewood down through there. But we're going to keep cutting. We're going to go on the upper end of the tree and saw up as much as we can. Go ahead and run this battery completely dead. We'll see how many cuts we get at the end of this. Well, that might be the end of the battery. It had 2 bars on it, but I've let it set here for a minute while I was adjusting the camera and stuff. Now it shows 1 bar, so this may be the end of it. Yep, I believe that's it right there. So kind of a coincidence there. I checked on the battery, it showed it had 2 bars on it. I adjusted my cameras and all that kind of stuff, and the saw was sitting there for a couple minutes. And I went back to use it, and I pulled the trigger, and it ran for a second and then went off. So it must have been getting ready to kick down to that 1 bar mark, or pretty much the dead mark. So I did get it to come back on for a minute, and I ran and made a couple more cuts with it. But now it's showing 1 bar, and it doesn't function at all. So after we count up these pieces of wood, we are going to go in and charge up the battery and see how long it does take to recharge this 4 amp hour battery. So that's not too bad. We actually got about 35 pieces of firewood on that 4 amp hour battery. So we were cutting up a cherry tree. I got down to about 7-inch piece, and it ranges all the way up to about a 12 or 14-inch piece. And there's 30 some cuts all the way down this tree into firewood sized pieces. Not to mention the limbs and stuff that I cut out of the way. There was another tree that was laying here across, and I cut it up and cut it into some pieces and stuff there too. I didn't actually count those because I don't actually know how many little limbs and all that kind of stuff I cut, but I know there was quite a bit more cuts in there. But as far as actual full-size pieces of firewood, I ended up getting 35 pieces of firewood, which is actually really good for this size and a battery saw. So let me tell you a few thoughts and my first impressions on this saw. One, it is a little bit heavy, but I don't know, if you're used to working with gas-powered saws and stuff in the 40 cc range and all that, I mean, it's kind of comparable. That'll actually be in some videos to come. I'll actually do a comparison between that and or all the battery saws and my gas saws, and kind of get an idea of all the different weights and stuff on them to kind of see where they all fall in there. Also, the power on this saw, it's a 58-volt lithium-ion battery. I think this saw has actually kind of got a good combination of power and speed. The chain speed is much faster than what my Milwaukee M18 Fuel is, but it's not nearly as torquey as what the M18 Fuel is. So if you let the Echo do all the work, you don't try to put any pressure on it, you just let the weight of the saw just fall through the wood, it cuts really fast because the chain speed is so high. So it'll actually be interesting to see in a comparison which one of those will actually prevail in speed. But whenever the saw is cutting, everything runs real smooth. The saw doesn't have any kind of weird vibrations or anything to it. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I am going to run in and put that battery on charge and put it on a timer and find out how long it does take to recharge that, and I'll put that on here at the end of the video. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.